Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining me in today's learning section. My name is Deborah Nifowoshe, actually. I am glad to share my knowledge with you today. Special thanks to the convener of the School Owners Forum, Mr. David Adeniji, and his team. Thank you so much. I do not take this opportunity lightly. Thank you for all you do. Okay, all right. Mr. Praise, Mr. Redemption, welcome. Thank you so much for having me today on the platform. Please let me know if you can hear me, if my audio is good. I'd like to know if my audio is perfect. Please let me know.
I can hear
Oh,
you now.
okay. All right. Great. Oh, great. Okay. Good morning, sir. Good morning. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate the convener, Mr. David Adeniji, and his team. I do not take this opportunity lightly. Thank you so much for all you do. All right. Um, I'm going to start today's section by asking a question, and I'd actually love to read the comments. I would like to read answers in the comments. And the question I would like to ask, the first question I'd like to ask today is, what is your school known for? What is your school known for? When someone hears about your school, what comes to mind? What do they think about your school? There are certain schools today that when we mention them, when we call them, there is this mindset that or perspective that we have concerning such schools. So, what exactly is your school known for? Okay, I would really like you to make sure your answers are well thought out and they are honest. All right, when you're answering them. I can rephrase the question again by saying, from a business point of view, I can say, what is your school's competitive advantage? What is your school's competitive advantage? So I would like to read your answers. I'd like to really hear your answers, and so that we can really have the best of today's section. So what's your school known for? What is your competitive advantage? Now, this means what makes your school, different from schools, other school around your block or the block right down your street or in your area. What makes your school different? What's your competitive advantage? All right. So while I wait your answers, let me share some likely answers that may come to your mind while you're listening to this. It's likely you might say, oh well, my school fees is fair, my school fees is affordable. It's likely you say my teachers are dedicated, or you say my curriculum is rich, or you say our children can read at age 3, or you say our children can speak with poise and eloquence. These are most likely some of the answers I tend to get and some of the answers I tend to hear. And these are great answers. In fact, they are great answers and may indeed, be competitive enough considering the environment, your school might, be or you may find yourself. However, if your goal indeed is to raise smart learners, all right, if indeed you want to raise smart learners, you need to revise your competitive advantage. Those competitive advantage I just gave to you now are good, but you need to revise them. I don't know if it's making any sense to you. All right, so don't worry, you're going to learn more into this section, so just follow me. Now, my second question for you today is, why did you start a school? Why did you start? What informed the decision? Now, whether you started due to passion for teaching or for impacting knowledge, or as a business or investment idea, your reasons are valid. Your reasons are valid. Don't let anyone shame you into saying, oh, come on, you mean you started the school for business? Yeah, your reasons are very valid. So whether it's passion based or business oriented, your reasons are actually valid. All right. However, if the reason you started it is yet to be achieved, then you should invest twice the effort in listening to this section today. In other words, if you would listen to this section carelessly, you might need to rethink this, all right? If your reason was for business and you're not making profit already from your school business, then you need to think again. Then you need to sit down and listen to this section carefully and attentively. If your reason was for impacting knowledge, or or because you have some level of passion, you should be able to see the results. If the results are not coming in yet, then you need to listen, and listen carefully. Now, there are many great answers to my first and second question. In case you're just joining us, the first question I asked was, what is your competitive advantage? What makes your school different, from the other school down the block there? And my second question was, why did you start your school? Now, like I said, there are many great answers, and but I will dwell on one, which interestingly enough, answers both. One that answers both. And I will personalize it a little. If I owned the school today, it would be because I wanted my pupils to receive global quality education, okay? And this will be my competitive advantage. I'll take that again. If I own the school today, it will be because I wanted my pupils to receive global quality education, okay? And this will be my competitive advantage. So what does that mean? I mean, if my school is seated right beside your school, and my goal is to have a school where the pupils have some level of advantage in terms of global exposure, in terms of the quality of the education I give them is global, okay? Then of course there's every tendency that I would attract the right paying parents, the right set of parents over the other school just beside me there that does not share the same ideology with me. So one interesting fact about global quality education is that it's not subjective. It's not. However, the methods of deployment are very subjective. So the general goal of global quality education is that children develop critical thinking skills and apply it into every aspect of their lives. So when kids are educated with the global education view in mind, you raise the bar very high, naturally. So when your children, your pupils in your school, your students, when they're educated with global education in mind, in view, you raise the bar. The bar is quite high. You're not raising local champions any longer. You tend to take your business, you tend to take your passion very, very seriously. And what does this mean? This means that children from such schools can take up Britons, they can take up Indians, Chinese, Americans on any topic within the global education purview without feeling inferior or lost. And quite naturally, you might be asking, how do we go about deploying a global educational system in my school? And that is why I'm here. That is what I've come here to do. I've come here to explain to you how you can deploy this, how you can use these methods to boost your learners' smartness. Okay? One of the frameworks within the purview of global quality education is STEAM. I know that it's possible you might have heard of STEAM before, or you might not have, and that's cool, that's fine. STEAM just means science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths. So we have a more popular framework, which is STEM. I'm sure you've heard STEM. Almost everyone must have heard STEM. STEM, is off cake right now. STEM just exempts the arts part, the arts. Okay, so you just have science, technology, engineering, and maths. Okay, but I will be talking about STEAM today. Another popular framework is STREAM. STREAM. It has R. It has R, and the R there, like at, it's for some people it's religion. Okay, so it's science, technology, religion, engineering, arts, and maths. Okay, so but like I said earlier, the deployment is subjective in the global educational. Global quality educational system. So it's the way you deploy it is subjective. All right, but the education itself is not negotiable. It's not something you wake up to say you want to do. All right, so my organization, I run a consultancy organization, and it's we are called tall legacy consults. So we adopt STEAM. We do not do STEM. We do not do stream for now. We just do STEAM. STEAM. And we've modified it into amazing science. We've modified it into techie technology, fun engineering, amazing art, fun maths. Okay, so these are some of the modifications we've given to STEAM. Now, this framework, this STEAM framework I've just told you about as part of the Global Quality Education Initiative. Okay, what does it take into cognizance? It takes into cognizance the different kind of learners. In our schools today, unfortunately, we do not understand that there are different types of learners. There are different types of learners, and the way they learn. But the STEAM framework embraces all kinds of learners. And what does it do as a result of that? It boosts their smartness. So what this means is that no child under the STEAM framework implementation is dull. A child under the STEAM framework implementation cannot be dull, because there is a place, for every child under that system. The STEAM framework as a tool for boosting learners' smartness is broad. It's quite broad, and it can be adapted to suit your school's budgets. For instance, Amazing Science. Amazing Science is divided into life sciences, into physical sciences, into earth sciences. We also have sports under this Amazing Science, and this sports includes football, volleyball, swimming, gymnastics, and tennis. Okay, we also have school organic gardening. School organic gardening program. We embedded this with entrepreneurship. So we have what we call the Farm Market Day. Okay, so the school organic garden has what we call the Farm Market Day, alongside as an entrepreneurial initiative. All right, so there's this entrepreneurial exhibition that happens, for schools that, adopt the school organic garden program. I'll talk more about this with those who might be interested, in consulting with us. All right, I've talked about the science part. Now we have the techie technology part, and because I have just very limited time, so I'm trying to, rush up and ensure that I carry you along on at least 5% of every of this framework. Okay, so we have the techie technology. And techie technology, involves digital literacy, typing skill development. Now, do you know that we have some adults? In fact, as a matter of fact, a young boy was telling me earlier this week that he's 20 and he doesn't really know how to undo a computer. So he doesn't know how to type, he doesn't know his way around the Microsoft Word packages and all of that. So yes, so the techie technology covers digital literacy, typing skill development, graphic design, Microsoft Office packages, video and audio editing, robotics and coding, 3D printings, and a lot more. So schools can choose one or more of these aspects and make it their competitive advantage. Now, imagine if in your school, your children, by the time they are graduating in primary 6 or in primary 5, can actually, edit videos, can actually edit audios, can actually code, or your children can actually develop slides on PowerPoint, create montages, in your school. The parents didn't have to go and pay someone elsewhere. They learned that in your school. I mean, trust me, you're going to get your enrollment, will be so enviable. It will be so impressive, because everyone wants their children not just to be able to speak big grammar, good English. A number of them want them to have life skills. And if you're raising a 21st generation pupil or child, they are innovative, they are inquisitive, they are restless. So you need to channel their energies, okay, into something worthwhile, into something productive. And if your school can do that, trust me, that is your competitive advantage. All right, now I'll quickly move on to fun engineering because of my time. For instance, at my organization at Tall Legacy, we have divided ours into 3 aspects. Some other persons or consultancies, who also run the STEM or the STEAM program might have, different ways at which they deploy theirs. So under the fun engineering, we have innovations, we have designs, we have inventions. Trust me, it is fun because it involves a lot of hands-on brainstorming sections. All right. And under amazing arts, I love arts. I love arts. Okay, so under amazing arts, we have the visual arts, we have the decorative arts, we have the performing arts, we have the graphic arts, we have the language arts, and under all of this kind of arts, we now have sub vocations. So we have paper crafts, we have baking, we have public speaking, we have elocution and enunciation, we have debating, we have knitting and crocheting, we have recycling, we have music, we have dance, we have painting, we have sculpting. Now, all of these things can actually be done from kindergarten, from age 3. That's a beautiful thing. They can be done, they can be taught, from age 3. Very soon we intend to introduce martial arts. Martial arts. We are hoping, to introduce that very soon. We're in talks with other professionals in that line. And the last one on the STEAM framework is fun maths. Fun maths, yes, involves just 2 things for now: foundational practical maths. Remember, the key word there is practical. Mathematics, I'm sorry to say, it's not as practical enough. We teach mathematics in this part of the world as a means to an end, and it doesn't stop at that, because mathematics is part of our everyday life. So under the STEAM framework, we have the foundational practical maths, we have the intensive practical maths. Now, imagine a child in a school that adopts at least one or each of all these frameworks we've spoken about. Please, in case you're just joining us, you can just maybe later you can listen to this live video. I trust you would have a lot of questions, and I'm more than willing to answer them. Now, imagine a child in a school that adopts at least one of this framework. Maybe adopts the amazing science part, maybe adopts the technological aspects or the engineering. What kind of child can you picture already? Just think. What kind of child it is that attends a school that adopts this? I'll leave you with this because I have just less than 10 minutes to go. If a global education enthusiast walks into your school as a parent to make inquiries, and they ask this question: how do you facilitate critical thinking in your pupils here? How would you answer that question satisfactorily? I ask this question all the time, and unfortunately, I don't really get school owners that can answer that question satisfactorily. In fact, sometime last year, when my family moved to a new environment, and we were school hunting for my child, and it was an eyesore. Beautiful schools with good structures, with good buildings, with good gadgets. But the question, okay, ma'am, I love your school, it's beautiful. So how do you facilitate critical thinking in your pupils here? I mean, come and see school owners stammering. Some of them were like, come again. Some of them tried to answer the question, but unfortunately, they didn't do justice to that. In fact, because of that, we had to homeschool our son for a year because we couldn't get, satisfactory answers from school owners that we asked. I do not want this to be your school. I want a situation whereby in your school, your pupils, can compete on any level, global, local, national level. All right? That's my desire for you. I want a situation whereby no child in your school is deemed or termed dull, okay? Because we've been able to find a place for every one of them. We've been able to find a place for every one of them. We've been able to find a place for every child in your school because you adopted global education systems, because you adopted, the ideologies that help advanced countries, that help them have adults that are productive in nature, that make them have adults that are innovative in nature. It started from the school, from the primary school, from the nursery school. Today, if you and I admire foreign countries, if we admire Canada, if we admire America, and some of the Western countries, we admire them not because of their government alone. We appreciate their educational system. But have you ever asked yourself, what educational system do these people operate that makes their adults very productive, very innovative, very very thoughtful? You listen to the way they think, you listen to the way they analyze issues. This came from a depth or a system of critical thinking, because they've been raised to think critically. Over here, we can do that too. We can do better. We need to stop thinking for the kids. We need to stop feeding them. We need to expand their thought patterns. We need to make them come up with hypotheses. We need to make them come up with possible answers to their likely questions. It's fun. Schools that, by the grace of God, schools that are enrolled on on this program in my organization, are seeing the result. The children get inquisitive. The children are developing research skills. Some of them are developing business skills. Some of these kids are developing talents. Some of these kids are enjoying coming to school, even though they don't know their multiplication table yet. But they have fun. They're happy because they know, oh, today is so and so day. Today we're going to do this, and trust me, it places your school on a different pedestal as a whole. It just takes you, it takes you out of the crowd and stands you out. So my organization is open to to trainings and consultations on the deployment of the STEAM framework in your school. All right, so you can leave your questions in the comment section. I will gladly respond to them. I'm so grateful for having you here. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you, School Owners Forum. Thank you, dear listener. I appreciate you. I will take questions now. Over to you, Mr. Praise Redemption. Thank you so much, sir.